Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to address something that I've been in denial about. I haven't wanted to admit it. I have buyer's remorse. So what is it that I have buyer's remorse about? You just saw it. That's right, I'm talking about the harnesses that I have in here. They are nice harnesses and they are made by PRP, so they're supposed to be the best, something like that, right? What don't I like about these? Well, there's a couple things. One, there's a lot of pieces to put on when you have to go ahead and do this. So I have two shoulder straps, I have the waistband on both sides, I have the 5th point that I use when I'm actually going up a big obstacle, and then another lap belt. So it's a 5-point harness, which is actually really safe. So it isn't the safety that I kind of get annoyed by. Let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. One of the first things that's a bit of a hassle is these. So they sit there loosely. If I hop out and it just falls off my shoulder, it hits my Jeep just like that. And I have tried to shut my door and slammed it on these plenty of times. These, when they're in here, kind of get in your way depending on how close you are to the steering wheel. Most of you aren't close. I stay a little bit closer just so I have control when I'm rock crawling. These love the shoulder pads, but they get flipped up. So like sometimes when I put them on, these are up there. So it's like, you ever had your toe wedged or your sock wedged at the end of your toe? And then sometimes these will get crisscrossed. And I don't know which one's where and why. The other thing that's a little bit of a pain is this thing just flops on out of here. Now, I think that's going to still happen on the new ones, but it's only one piece there. So it takes me a long time when I'm spotting at events to put all these on, get them tightened up, make sure that these aren't spun inside out or around. So I went and bought a different set of harness. Here's the new ones. I got them just set in here. One of the things that I didn't realize I did when I bought these was I bought a 3-2. So the shoulder straps are 2 inches wide versus the 3, and the waist belt was 3 inches wide. Now, ideally, I would have been able to get this in a 3-2 because I have a big belly. This thing digs in. But let's talk a little bit about the differences. 1, thicker straps here. 2, there's less of this compared to this to flip up, right? So that's another benefit. 3, now my one that I have here, which is the 5-point harness, does have a thicker clip here. So this is a lot thicker and heavier duty than this one right here, but I don't mind. And I'll still have room to go ahead and pop this through here. There we go. I got it in there. So this will still clip on here and allow me to have a 5th point in this. Normally it would sandwich between these 2 shoulder straps. So it'd be a shoulder strap on this side, shoulder strap on this side, and make a super secure. Now, if I was racing, these are probably the absolute best to go ahead and put in here. I'm not racing. The other thing that I really wanted to help me out and to speed things up and to make it more comfortable is on these ones, you have to put them in separate. I bought this set and they are attached to the waist belt. So when I flop these out, I don't have to worry about 2. I just flip it in. I hop in, put my arm through the hoops, snap myself in, and I'm good to go. Let's go ahead and take a look at my setup for my mounts because it's a little bit different. I set up mine so that way I have grade 8, 5/8 hardware. Well, bolt's not 5/8, the socket is. Can't recall what size bolt this is, but it's on tight. The common things that I've seen are just like bolting it under one of the rails. So in between here and here, there's 2 bolts that goes between your slider and here. I decided that I was going to make this bracket and clamp on both of those bolts real tight instead of just one, instead of sandwiching it in between here. And then the ask from PRP is that it's vertical instead of sticking out and then coming up, because it would be bending on this thing. So I did this adjustment with a spacer in here to get it right. So let's go ahead and get this off all the way. I put a Nylox nut, and then each side has a different size spacer on the bolt to keep it so that it's firmly pressed, but not getting in here where I can't tighten it up. So the other side of the seat has a different size one of these. But now this comes out, and all I got to do is bolt this in, and then this section, the waist section for the outside, and I'll get the other side. It's the same process, other side, and then we'll get to those shoulder straps. But let me get this bolted in. Here's when that customary "I'm only doing this for fun" clause comes in. So I read online on how to do this when I did these last ones, so I'm kind of reteaching myself here. So they come with these where you can bolt it, but usually there's nowhere to bolt. You can weld something to bolt it to. What I read is drop these bolt-on things, get rid of them, and then set it up like this so that you need the flat facing away from the seat. And this is, I haven't rolled in this, so I don't know. So instead of it going back through, it goes over this. So it comes out of the back, right? You have it come through here. So it's two staged. Have it come back down through here. And then this just sits on there like that. This was set up on there just like that. So I pulled out a little bit more so I can go through. So it's on there. I'm going to go up through the front, go back down up through this upper hole, now that that's been pulled tight, I'm going to go back over the top line and down and under this. It's a lot to cram into these things, but the real pain is for me, and how I have mine set up is to do the side closest to the center console and then that passenger side, because I got a dual ARB under there. Okay, so I left a couple inches. I think there was some kind of rule with how much you leave on a flap. I left 3 of my fat fingers out of there. So that's strapped on there now and tight, and I'll get the other side. And now this is up out of the way, and this is secured in, and I'll have plenty of room to tighten this up. I'll only adjust that if when I get in here I can't go tight enough on this, then I need to tighten out the back. Okay, so here's my thoughts. Initially, I love it. It's going to take some getting used to, but I can still take the shoulder straps and loosen them like I do when I'm driving and get them in here. I do enjoy the 3-inch shoulder straps, so that part's really nice and comfortable. The 5-point harness still fits. I think the difference is the other one's actually race rated, because if I look at my 5-point harness through the crotch area, it's got a, like, what is it called? SFCI? Can't see because my junk's in the way. SFI spec. So, and then it's rated through a certain year, because I think they last like 2 years. So 2024, June of 2024. So mine aren't going to be race spec in like a month. Anyways, but the nice thing is that the V isn't as tight. It's not as crossing my chest as hard on here, because of the fact that it's not all pinched down at the very bottom there. So far, honestly, I think this was a much better choice, much more comfortable. and a lot easier. So when I take it off, just slide my shoulders out. They're off. Hop out. I still have the one I need to flip in, but then, ouch! Oh, dude. Oh, I pulled so hard on that. I had that set up holding the door open, and it ricocheted me in the stomach. But now it's easy to close. Well, I'm pretty stoked about that change. We'll see how I like it in the long run. Is it really any better or not? It certainly has a little bit less crowded around my big belly, where the 5 points would come together. So we'll see if it wears out the buckle with the 5th part warning, but I don't use it that often unless I'm going like the Wall of Doom, or if I'm going up the chute, Hell's Gate, going up Pritchett obstacle, stuff like that. That's when I definitely wear the 5th point. A lot of the other stuff, I just wear the 4 points. But hope you enjoyed. Hope that's a little bit of information for you. Keep your head up. We'll see you out on the trails.